I believed my future was already written. For 5 years, every long workday, every late night, and every dollar I saved had one purpose. I wanted to place a ring on Elena's finger and hear her say yes. "You look exhausted," she said one evening as I sat beside her. "I'll rest after I buy your ring." She laughed softly. "You always say that." "Because I mean it." She leaned against my shoulder. "You're too serious." "I'm serious because I love you." "I know." Those 2 words were enough to keep me working harder every day. One Friday afternoon, she called me. "Can we meet?" "Of course. Right now." Her voice sounded strange. My stomach tightened before I even saw her. She was waiting at our favorite coffee shop. I smiled. "What's wrong?" She didn't smile back. "I accepted a job overseas." I blinked. "What?" "It's a great opportunity." "For how long?" 2 years. I stared at her, hoping she would laugh and tell me it was a joke. Instead, she slid a folder across the table. "The contract is signed." "You already decided?" "I had to." "You didn't even ask me." "I knew what you'd say." My chest felt heavy. "I would have asked you to stay." "I know." "Then why didn't you give me the chance?" She looked away. "Victor helped me get this position." The name hit me harder than I expected. "Victor? Your ex. He owns part of the company. So you're leaving with him?" "We're just working together." I laughed bitterly. "Do you hear yourself?" She frowned. "Don't make this ugly." "I'm making it ugly? I've worked so hard for this." "So have I." She folded her arms. "This isn't about us. It became about us the second you chose him." "I didn't choose him." "It feels exactly like that." She sighed. "You're thinking emotionally. And you're not thinking about us at all." Silence filled the space between us. Finally I whispered, "I bought the ring." Her eyes widened. "You what?" "I was going to propose next week." She covered her mouth. "You should have told me. I wanted it to be a surprise." "I'm sorry." Those words sounded empty. "Cancel the job." "I can't." "You can." "I won't." That hurt even more. "So ambition matters more than me?" "It isn't that simple." "It feels simple from where I'm sitting." She reached for my hand, pulled it away. "I'll come back," she said quietly. "When?" "In 2 years. And then, we'll get married." "You really think life waits?" "It will." "No, Elena. It will." "You already left." "I'm still here." "No." I shook my head. The woman I loved wouldn't make me compete with her career. She stood. "I hoped you'd understand. I hoped you'd stay." Neither of us moved for several seconds. Finally she whispered, "Please don't hate me." "I don't hate you." "What do you feel?" I swallowed hard. "I feel like I'm losing my future." She walked away before I could say anything else. 3 days later, I stood at the airport. She hugged me tightly. "I'll call every day." "I don't want phone calls." She looked confused. "I want you here. I have to do this." "No." I forced myself to meet her eyes. "You want to do this?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I still love you. If you loved me enough, you'd stay." She stepped back. "I'll come home." I didn't answer. She picked up her suitcase. For 1 second, I believed she might turn around. She didn't. I watched her disappear behind the security gate, and something inside me disappeared with her. I stood there long after her flight had taken off. People walked around me, laughing, hugging, rushing to their own destinations. My world had stopped, but everyone else's kept moving. My phone buzzed. It was Elena. I landed message scheduled. "Don't forget to eat. I love you." I stared at the screen before turning it off. "I can't do this," I whispered. The weeks that followed felt empty. Daniel, my best friend, knocked on my apartment door one evening. "You look terrible." "I've been better." "You haven't answered my calls." "I didn't want to talk." "You still have to live." "I don't know how." He sighed. "Come outside." "I don't feel like it." "That's exactly why we're going." He practically dragged me to the neighborhood park. Children laughed nearby while parents watched from benches. I don't belong here, I muttered. You belong wherever life still exists, Daniel replied. Before I could answer, a small soccer ball rolled toward my feet. A little boy ran after it. I'm sorry, mister. I picked up the ball. Is this yours? Yep. He smiled so brightly that I almost smiled back. I'm Noah. I'm Jake. Will you kick it back? I can try. I gently kicked the ball toward him. Wow, he shouted. You're good. I got lucky. No, he laughed. You're really good. A woman hurried over. Noah, don't bother strangers. It's okay, I said. She smiled politely. I'm Grace. Thank you. He wasn't bothering me. Noah pointed at me. Mom, he said. I froze. Grace looked embarrassed. I'm sorry. He says whatever he thinks. It's fine. Noah tilted his head. Did someone hurt your feelings? I laughed quietly for the first time in weeks. You could say that. My dad said people smile again after crying. Grace's smile faded. I realized what he had just revealed. I'm sorry, I said softly. You don't have to be, Grace replied. His father passed away 3 years ago. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. Noah tugged my sleeve. Do you want to play? Grace immediately said, only if you're not busy. I looked at the empty afternoon stretching before me. I'm not busy. For 30 minutes, we kicked the ball across the grass. Every time Noah laughed, something inside me felt a little lighter. When we finally stopped, I was breathing hard. You're awesome, Noah declared. I think you won. I always win. Grace laughed. That's not true. It is today. She turned to me. I haven't seen him laugh like that with someone new in a long time. He made my day too. She studied me for a moment. Whatever happened, I hope it gets easier. I hope so too. Noah waved both hands. Will you come back tomorrow? I hesitated. I usually come after school, he continued hopefully. Grace quickly added, no pressure. I looked at the hopeful little face in front of me. I'll try. Promise. I promise. His grin was impossible to ignore. As Daniel and I walked away, he nudged my shoulder. You smiled. I guess I did. It looks better on you. I still miss her. I know. I still love her. I know. But today didn't hurt as much. He nodded. That's how healing begins. That night, I sat alone in my apartment. The ring box was still hidden in my drawer. I opened it, looked at the untouched ring, then closed it again. I can't throw you away, I whispered. Not yet. But for the first time since Elena boarded that plane, I also whispered something else. Maybe my life isn't over. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. I only knew that somewhere in a quiet park, a cheerful little boy expected me to keep my promise. For the first time, I wanted to. The next afternoon, I kept my promise. Noah spotted me the moment I entered the park. Jake! He ran straight toward me and nearly knocked me over. You came. I said I would. I told Mom you wouldn't forget. Grace smiled from the bench. He talked about you all evening. I hope that's a good thing. It is. Noah grabbed my hand. Come on. We have to finish our game. For someone who always wins, I'll let you score once. I laughed. How generous. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Without realizing it, the park became part of my routine. One afternoon, Grace handed me a bottle of water. You don't have to come every day. I know. Then why do you? I looked at Noah chasing butterflies across the grass. Because someone expects me. She smiled. He does. So do I. Her words caught me off guard. I'm glad you're here. So am I. As winter turned into spring, Noah began sharing pieces of his little world. Guess what happened at school? What? I got an A in reading. That's amazing. My teacher said I worked hard. I believe her. He grinned. Will you come to my school play? I hesitated only a second. If your mom says it's okay. Grace nodded. I'd love for you to. I'll be there. The night of the play, Noah searched the audience until he found me. There you are. He waved so hard that everyone laughed. Afterward, he hugged me. You came. I promised. You always keep promises. His words stayed with me long after we left. A few weeks later, Daniel invited me for coffee. You look different. Different how? Lighter. I still think about Elena. I know. I wonder if moving on means I didn't love her enough. Daniel shook his head. It means you survived. I still feel guilty. You loved someone. I still do. Maybe. And yet you're smiling again. I didn't expect that. You deserve it. Later that evening, I walked Grace home. She unlocked her front gate. Would you like some tea? Sure. Inside, the small house felt warm. Family photos covered the walls. One picture caught my attention. Your husband. She nodded quietly. He was a good man. I'm sorry. So am I. Silence settled between us. Finally, she spoke. Sometimes I feel guilty for laughing again. I looked at her. I know that feeling. It feels like I'm leaving him behind. I felt that way about Elena. What changed? I realized memories don't disappear because life keeps moving. She looked at me for several seconds. You're kinder than you think. I'm just trying to heal. So am I. As I stood to leave, Noah came running from his room. Wait. What is it? He handed me a drawing. It showed 3 stick figures holding hands. That's you, he said, pointing at the tallest one. And that's Mom. I smiled. And who's the little guy? He giggled. Me. I folded the picture carefully. I'll keep this. Forever. Forever. He hugged me tightly. For the first time since Elena left, I realized someone needed me. Not because of promises I made years ago, but because I simply showed up every day. Grace walked me to the door after Noah fell asleep. Thank you, she said quietly. For what? For making him smile again. He does the same for me. She looked down. I've been afraid to admit that. You don't have to be afraid with me. I want to believe that. So do I. Months passed, and our friendship became part of our lives. We never rushed. We never pretended the past had not hurt us. One evening, we sat on her porch while the sun disappeared. She asked, "Can I tell you something?" Always. I'm scared. Of what? Trusting someone again. I understand. My husband loved me until his last breath. Losing him broke me. I know what it feels like to lose the future you believed in. You still think about Elena? Sometimes. Do you still love her? I answered honestly. I love the man I used to be when I was with her. I'm not sure I still love the woman who left. Grace nodded slowly. I don't want to replace anyone. You aren't. I just want something real. So do I. She reached across the table. Then let's promise one thing. What? No rushing. I smiled. No pretending. And no lies. Never. A year later, Noah met me at the park with the biggest grin I had ever seen. I have something important. What is it? He wrapped his small arms around me. You're my hero. My throat tightened. Why? You always come. Heroes don't miss soccer games. You don't miss anything. He looked up at me. I wish you were my dad. I couldn't speak. Grace had heard every word. She walked over slowly. You don't have to answer. I looked at Noah. I don't know if I deserve that. He smiled. I already decided. That night, Grace and I talked for hours. I think we're already a family, she whispered. I think so too. A few months later, I knelt in the same park where everything had changed. I held a small ring. Grace, I don't want to erase our pasts. I don't either. I want us to build a future together. Tears filled her eyes. Yes. Noah jumped between us. Does this mean you're staying forever? I laughed. That's the plan. Can I call you Dad someday? You can call me whatever feels right. He hugged me. I think I'll start today. Thanks, Dad. I closed my eyes, trying not to cry. Our wedding was simple. Daniel stood beside me. Mrs. Carter smiled from the front row. She squeezed my hand before the ceremony. Love isn't about finding another beginning, she whispered. It's about having the courage to keep living. I'll remember that. I know you will. Grace and I exchanged rings. I choose you, I said. I choose you too, she replied. No grand celebration followed. We simply went home together. Months later, Grace placed my hand on her stomach. Feel that? I smiled as I felt a tiny kick. Our baby. She nodded. Our baby. When Lily was born, I held her carefully. Hello, little one. Grace smiled through happy tears. She's beautiful. So are you. Noah peeked into the room. Can I hold my sister? You sure can. Watching him cradle Lily filled my heart with peace I never thought possible. Years earlier, I believed my life had ended in an airport. Now I understood it had only changed direction. One quiet evening, after putting Lily to sleep, my phone vibrated. An unknown number. I opened the message. I'm coming home tomorrow. We need to talk. Elena ***. My heartbeat stopped. The past had just knocked on my door again. The next morning, I barely touched my breakfast. Grace noticed immediately. You've been quiet. I looked at my phone. Elena is coming back today. She didn't panic. She simply reached across the table and held my hand. Are you okay? I don't know. You don't have to face her alone. I know. Noah looked between us. Who's Elena? I forced a smile. Someone I knew a long time ago. An old friend. Something like that. He nodded and returned to eating. Grace squeezed my hand. Whatever happens, we're going home together. I wouldn't want anything else. That afternoon, we took Noah and Lily to the park. It had become our family's favorite place. Noah raced ahead with his soccer ball. Dad, come on. I'm coming. I laughed and ran after him. Lily giggled from her stroller while Grace pushed her along the path. This is cheating, I called. You'll never catch us, Grace teased. I absolutely will. I caught Noah and lifted him onto my shoulders. I surrender, he laughed. Then I heard a familiar voice. Jake. My heart froze. I slowly turned around. Elena stood only a few feet away. She looked exactly as I remembered. Elegant coat, perfect makeup, confident smile. But the smile disappeared the moment she saw Noah on my shoulders and Lily in the stroller. Her eyes moved to Grace, then back to me. What is this? I gently lowered Noah to the ground. Go play for a minute, buddy. Okay. He ran toward the playground. Grace quietly stayed beside Lily. Elena stared at my wedding ring. No. Her voice cracked. No. This isn't possible. I took a slow breath. Hello, Elena. You got married? Yes. When? 2 years ago. She looked at Grace. Who is she? My wife. Grace stepped forward politely. I'm Grace. Elena ignored her. You were supposed to wait for me. I blinked. I was supposed to what? I told you I'd come back. You did. And I did. She smiled as if that solved everything. I'm here now. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You think nothing changed? I thought we'd finally get married. Grace looked at me. I'll take Lily over there. You don't have to. I trust you. She smiled softly before walking toward a nearby bench. Elena watched her leave. You replaced me. No. I found someone who stayed. Her face tightened. I left for our future. You left for your career. I did it for us. You never asked what I wanted. You were emotional. I was in love. She stepped closer. I never stopped loving you. I shook my head. You stopped choosing me. Tears filled her eyes. You don't understand. Then explain. She looked around the park. I thought you'd still be waiting. I almost laughed. I waited longer than I should have. But not forever. No. I glanced toward Noah. He was waving at me from the swings. Dad, watch this. I waved back. I'm watching. Elena whispered. He called you Dad. He did. Is he your son? He's my son in every way that matters. She covered her mouth. I never imagined this. I know. She stared at my family. I came home expecting a wedding ring. I looked at the little boy waiting for me and the woman smiling beside our daughter. You found something much better. Elena lowered her eyes, and for the first time since I had known her, she looked completely lost. Elena looked at me as if she were waiting for everything to disappear. Please, she whispered. Can we talk alone? I glanced at Grace. She smiled gently. We'll be at the playground. Thank you. As Grace walked away with Lily, I faced Elena again. She took a shaky breath. I made a mistake. I know. I thought I could build a career first and come back to you. I begged you not to leave. I thought 2 years would pass quickly. They didn't. I called. Less and less. I got busy. You made time for what mattered. She lowered her head. I deserve that. I stayed silent. She looked into my eyes. Victor lied to me. What happened? He promised we'd become partners. And he only wanted someone to help expand his business. I didn't interrupt. When the company started losing money, he blamed me. He abandoned you? Without a second thought. She laughed bitterly. The man I chose over you didn't even stay when things became difficult. My chest felt heavy, but not with anger. Only sadness. A woman walked toward us. Elena. She turned around. Emma? Emma nodded politely at me. You must be Jake. I am. She sighed. I've wanted to meet you for a long time. Elena looked confused. What are you doing here? I came home last month. Emma folded her arms. You should tell him the whole truth. I already am. No, you're not. Elena's face turned pale. Emma looked at me. Victor admitted he never planned to keep his promises. He used Elena because she was talented. Once he got what he wanted, he replaced her. I frowned. You knew. I worked with both of them. Emma looked at Elena sadly. I warned you. You did. But you thought success was worth the risk. Tears rolled down Elena's cheeks. I believed him. Emma shook her head. You ignored everyone who cared about you. After Emma quietly left, Elena covered her face. I lost everything. No. She looked up. You threw it away. She nodded slowly. I suppose I did. We sat on a nearby bench. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Finally she whispered, Do you hate me? I answered honestly. I hated what happened. But not me. I carried that anger for a long time. What changed? I smiled toward the playground. Grace. And Noah. And Lily. She followed my eyes. They healed you. They never tried to. I don't understand. They simply loved me. She cried harder. I finally realized you were the man I should have chosen. I wanted to hear those words years ago. I know. But they're too late. She nodded. I kept imagining you'd still be waiting. I stopped waiting the day I realized my life couldn't stay frozen forever. She wiped away her tears. Is there any chance? I gently shook my head. No. You won't even think about it? I already did. I looked at my wedding ring. I chose my family. She closed her eyes. I deserved that answer. You deserve honesty. I wish I had given you the same. I stood. So do I. She looked up one last time. I hope they're good to you. They already are. Noah ran toward me. Dad. Mom says it's time to go. I'm coming. He grabbed my hand without hesitation. As we walked away, I looked back once. Elena was still sitting on the bench, completely alone. For years, I thought revenge would feel satisfying. Instead, I discovered something far better. I no longer needed revenge. I already had peace. The morning after our meeting in the park, my phone rang. I almost ignored it. Then I saw Elena's name. I answered. Hello, Jake? Please. What is it? Can we meet one last time? I don't think that's a good idea. I won't ask again. I closed my eyes. 1 hour. Thank you. We met at the same coffee shop where she had ended our future years ago. She was already waiting. You came. I said I would. She looked tired. There was no confidence left in her voice. I've been thinking all night. So have I. She reached across the table. I know I don't deserve another chance. I didn't move. But I'm asking anyway. I looked at her quietly. I left because I thought success would make us happier. It didn't. No. I thought I could pause our love. You can't pause someone else's life. I know that now. She wiped away a tear. I've lost my career. I'm sorry. I've lost my friends. I'm sorry. And I lost you. I took a slow breath. That wasn't one mistake. She lowered her eyes. I know. It was hundreds of choices. I understand. You chose Victor. I did. You chose work. Yes. You chose tomorrow over today. She nodded. I kept believing you'd still be waiting. I waited until I couldn't anymore. Silence filled the room. Finally she whispered, "Can you forgive me?" Yes. Her eyes filled with hope. Really? Yes. She smiled through tears. I knew. I gently interrupted. But forgiveness isn't the same as another chance. Her smile slowly disappeared. What do you mean? I forgave you because I didn't want to carry anger forever. But I can't rebuild something you walked away from. I've changed. So have I. I still love you. I smiled sadly. The man you loved doesn't exist anymore. She stared at me. What? The man who begged you not to leave. I touched my wedding ring. He disappeared at the airport. She began crying again. So who are you now? I'm a husband. My husband. I'm a father. My children need me. I'm someone who finally learned his worth. She covered her mouth. I never wanted to destroy you. You didn't. I didn't. You broke me. I paused. But someone helped me become stronger than I was before. She whispered, Grace. I nodded. She never asked me to forget you. Then why did you? I didn't. She looked confused. I remember everything. Then why can you smile? Because memories don't have to control my future. She slowly nodded. I wish I had learned that sooner. So do I. As we left the coffee shop, Daniel was walking down the sidewalk. He stopped when he saw us. Everything okay? I smiled. It is now. He looked at Elena, then back at me. I'll wait over there. No. I shook my head. We're finished talking. Daniel smiled proudly. I've waited years to hear you say that. I laughed quietly. So have I. Together we walked toward the park where Grace had taken Noah and Lily for the afternoon. For the first time, I wasn't walking away from my past. I was walking toward my family. When we reached the park, I saw Grace sitting on a blanket beneath a large tree. Lily was chasing bubbles across the grass. Noah was kicking his soccer ball toward Mrs. Carter, who laughed every time she missed. Grace looked up and smiled. There you are. I'm home. Those two words felt different now. They felt true. Noah spotted me first. Dad! He ran toward me as fast as he could. Without thinking, I knelt and opened my arms. He crashed into me with a huge hug. I scored 3 goals. I knew you could. He grinned proudly. I told everyone you're my dad. My throat tightened. I'm honored. He grabbed my hand. Come meet my new friend. As we walked, I noticed Elena standing several steps behind us. She watched everything in silence. Noah pointed at me. This is my dad. The little boy beside him smiled. Hi, mister. Hi. Noah shook his head. Not mister. He wrapped both arms around my waist. My dad. I hugged him again. You make me proud every day. Grace carried Lily toward us. The moment Lily saw me, she reached out with both hands. Dada. I lifted her into my arms. There's my little girl. She rested her head against my shoulder. Grace smiled softly. She waited for you. I couldn't wait to see her. Grace glanced toward Elena before looking back at me. You okay? I am. She squeezed my free hand. Good. Mrs. Carter slowly walked over with her usual gentle smile. I see peace on your face. I finally found it. She nodded. I told you once that love takes courage. You were right. No. She laughed quietly. You proved it. Elena stepped closer. I understand now. Everyone turned toward her. She looked at Grace first. You didn't steal him. Grace answered calmly. I never tried. Elena nodded. I know. Then she looked at me. I kept believing love was built with big promises. I stayed silent. You built yours with ordinary days. Grace smiled. Love grows in the little things. Elena looked around at our family. The school plays. Noah smiled. The soccer games. I nodded. The bedtime stories. Lily giggled. The dinners. The hugs. The promises you actually kept. I answered quietly, that's what made us a family. She wiped away another tear. I spent years chasing the future and missed the present. Yes. She took one slow breath. I think this is goodbye. I think so too. She managed a small smile. I hope your children always know how lucky they are. I'll spend every day making sure they do. She looked at Grace. Thank you for loving him when I didn't. Grace answered gently. I simply loved the man standing in front of me. Elena nodded one last time. Then she turned and walked away. She never looked back. Neither did I. Daniel joined us carrying a picnic basket. Did I miss anything? I smiled. Only the end of an old story. And the beginning? I looked at Grace. I looked at Noah laughing beside Mrs. Carter. I looked at Lily reaching for another bubble. The beginning happened a long time ago. Grace slipped her hand into mine. What are you thinking? I smiled at my family. I used to believe happiness meant getting back what I lost. And now I know real happiness is protecting what I found. The sound of my children laughing filled the park. Years ago, I thought my life had ended when one woman walked away. I finally understood the truth. My real life began the day someone else chose to stay.